Hey guys, BJ the Brave here, back with some more Warpforge content. I've got a short video for today. I just did a video very recently, just sort of looking back, reflecting on 2024, and essentially just, going through all the things, all the memories that I've got of the year and reminiscing a bit. Today's video, what I'm going to do is actually look forward and share with you my personal wish list for Warpforge. So these are the things that I'm excited for in the future that I kind of hope might change or come to the game. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. But yeah, let's get into my Warpforge wish list. So, dear Santa, what I wish for, probably more than anything right now in Warpforge, is a spectator mode. So, what spectator mode means is that when we look at our friends list, if I was to look at, say, Grey Knight was playing a game against Gunrilla, because I have them both on my friends list, I can basically press a spectate button and I can watch that game. Ideally, the ability to even watch the replay of that game. Now, why do I wish Santa to bring me spectator mode so badly in 2025 to Warpforge? Well, because this is a major key in unlocking tournaments in Warpforge. With spectator mode, we can organize community tournaments. We can do all sorts of really cool events around that. Getting a commentary team, doing graphics, making like a real event out of it, which is something that always brings communities together in other CCGs and just gives players like another thing to kind of compete for, to aim for, and a different way of playing Warpforge as well, right? If you watched my recent Forge Clash, which was a tournament style match against Longtim, I also have done them with Ecclesiarch in the past and other people. You're talking about open deck lists, you're talking about having prey decks and meta decks, and it's just a different meta to what you get on ladder slightly. So yeah, I really see spectator mode as being key to unlocking that. So my number one wish from Santa is for spectator mode. Okay, so my second wish, dear Santa, is to see profiles fully. So if I go on to my if I go on to a friend, let's pick a friend here. And let's just say, for example, I go on and I click on Barrick. If I click on his profile here, so it will bring up Barrick's kind of front page here, but what it doesn't show me is his actual breakdown. So his faction breakdown, and I don't know why, and I think like that's really fun. It's quite a cool thing to kind of like keep track of your friends' progress and kind of what they're doing and what factions they're diving into. I know that we've copied the Gwent Pro ladder in terms of the ladder system here, and you could always do that in Gwent. You could look at your friends. So what I'm talking about, guys, for those who don't know, is this page here, right, where you can see the actual faction breakdown. That's kind of what I would love to see. Yeah, not a big one, but be cool. So I think next up for me, dear Santa, please bring more new archetypes and ways to build decks. So as you know, like I really love building decks in this game. I've got a whole channel pretty much full of deck lists and deck guides and decks that I've built and stuff. And I do think Warpforge is slightly limited when it comes to deck building. Take something like Chaos, for example, the Black Legion. They're an example of a faction that just feel really, really limiting to me because like so many of the cards are all based around a certain archetype with involving dark packs essentially, to the degree that even when they released a new Warlord in Galaron, it just didn't work without a dark pack kind of a link to that archetype. So what I want to see is more styles, more different ways of playing, and also I think it's okay to release, say, a legendary card that's only good in certain archetypes, like Magic the Gathering and other games do this, where they'll have a really cool legendary. It's powerful, but only within a theme. Like, it doesn't work necessarily in every deck. The danger in Warpforge, which I do think we're getting there a little bit, is where when you build a deck, you almost just filter and put all your legendary cards in any deck because they're just the best cards. And I don't think that's particularly healthy in the long run, particularly when you're talking about having variety and building different decks. So again, I'd really like to see new ways of playing, much more in terms of like control decks, mid-range decks, fun combo decks that sort of go off and become really powerful if they pull the combo together, but they're at risk of dying before they get it together. It's a bit like my recent Miracle Quest deck that I just did with Asmodai. That's a good example of that. So just more archetypes and more flavour and different ways of playing. For example, you know, we just got the agenda rule with Dark Angels, but technically it's the same mechanic as duty and prey. And so from a design point of view, obviously devs are reusing that, and it's like, I don't know, I'm hoping in 2025 we're going to get loads of creativity and different ways of playing. So yeah, different ways to build decks. That was my third one. So my fourth one, Dear Santa, my fourth wish for Warpforge is actually to do with the replay mode. Obviously I use the replay mode quite a bit. So if I look at this game here, for example, if I go on to the replay mode, these are the only controls that we have, and I can't rewind a step. I can't just press play. Like if I want to get towards the end, I've kind of got to do this. I keep clicking fast forward, and it's like what I want to do is have more control, right? I want to be able to watch it at different speeds, you know, 1.5 speed, 2 speed, maybe move on to different points in the video, be able to rewind it. And also, it's a little bit shady, the replay mode. Sometimes it just like tracks out, for example, like especially long games, it just decides to like end as though it's kind of got almost like a limited amount of recording time, and it just kind of cuts out. So yeah, I'd really like, you know, I must have click this button now about 100 times at this point because I'm trying to get towards the end of the game. Whereas I should be able to do this much more like intuitively, right? Horrible look. Horrible end game here. You guessed it. There comes the Terminator. And she finishes me off. Yeah, so maybe you could jump to key moments. I don't know what exactly, but certainly like different speeds, being able to rewind. I'd love to just see a little bit more in terms of controls on the replay mode. Next up, I would love Dear Santa to have more ways of accumulating wildcards. So I was thinking, I can't show you an example of this, but I was thinking one example would have been in the reinforcement drop, where on the 5-track on the quest we get 3 cards that we can unlock, and then we usually get 2 cosmetics. Maybe those could be wild cards instead of cosmetics. I don't know, but there's very few ways currently to actually gain wild cards, and particularly beyond, say, once you've done a premium campaign, then there's pretty much very little. So I think a few more ways for players to earn wildcards. I think that'll be quite helpful for beginners particularly. Oh, right, Dear Santa, this is going to be, this again, maybe this is just because I'm a deck builder. I want to be able to save unfinished deck lists. So let's say I'm making this deck here, and I don't know, I have to get rid of a couple of cards. I've got 28 cards. And maybe the other 2 cards I want to put in I don't own yet, or maybe I just haven't decided yet what those other 2 cards should be. I should be able to save this deck, but I can't. My only option is to discard it, so I have to put 2 cards in there. If I don't, it won't let me save. Now, other games will let you save the deck at any point, and this would just be sort of greyed out. It'd be like black and white, or it'd have a red cross across it just to show that it's not playable. But it just means I haven't then lost the deck. It's also really cool from a deck builder's point of view because I can build shells. So what I like to do is build a shell of say 10 cards and then make 4 or 5 versions of that deck. Kind of see I've been doing that with a Miracle Quest version, for example. So that's something that I would really love to see added to the game. What else would I love to see added? Well, I mean, we've all got our favourite factions, and I'm really keen to see. I'm really interested and excited to see what new factions are going to get added in 2025. I do think one of the most fun parts of playing Warpforge in 2024 for sure has been when they've released new factions. Like by a mile, you know, the Imperial Guard, the Tau, the the Gene Stealers was pretty cool as well, and obviously just recently the Dark Angels. So which ones are they for me? Let me know in the comments which ones you're most keen to see in 2025. But I think my personal ones are, I would have to say Dark Eldar is definitely one I'm really keen to see, just to kind of like change it up. I think that would be a really different faction, and yeah, I think that would be quite cool if we could get that earlier. I have to obviously say, you might have heard me say this on my channel a few times, but Space Wolves, yeah, basically the two first armies I collected were a Khorne Berserker Chaos Army on the tabletop, and the other one was Space Wolves. Logan Grimnar was, I think, the first mod I actually bought with my own money. So I'm really looking forward to having Space Wolves. Just my own little bit of hobby love there. Couple of other spicy ones I'm really looking forward to seeing. One I would say would be Ulthwar. The way that we have obviously come out with the factions, we haven't just called it Eldar. This is the Simham faction. I would love to see Ulthwar. Again, the person I used to play the game a lot against, he used to collect Ulthwar, and I'm really curious, you know, all the spells and magic kind of theme of Ulthwar I think would be really, really cool. And then another one I'm really looking forward to, and maybe this could even be a reinforcement drop, would be Farsight's Enclave. Yeah, I'd love to see a Farsight and a lot of really badass battlesuits added to the Tau. And I was just thinking about cards that could almost be like kind of like Transformer-esque. Like imagine that you've got Farsight. Imagine you can build him up as a Warlord. You know, you can put his shield on, and then you can put you know, just all the different I've forgotten all the names now, but all the different upgrades that you could give a battlesuit in the game, and just build this like mega Farsight. I think that would be really cool. But either way, I think he will be make for a really great reinforcement drop. So yeah, there's some of the things that I'm most looking forward to. Let me know which factions you think would be cool to add in 2025. What else? Oh, I tell you, dear Santa, dear God, please. Absolutely, this might be actually the highest one on my wish list for the game. I'm not even joking. What I really, really wish we would have added to Warpforge is an auto pack opener. Holy schmoly, guys! If I just show you on here, I had 160 all armies packs, and I had to painfully go through and open each one. And I know that sounds like, you've got to remember, I've pretty much got all the cards, so I just wanted a button that I could just press and it would open like 10 packs at a time, maybe like Magic does that, or just some way of auto opening. So just a way to really speed up pack opening, because it can be so laborious, and it's just not a good use of player time. So please, EG, if you're listening, that would be awesome. Another thing I'd really love to see, and definitely would be high on my wish list for Warpforge, is some kind of like win tracker for all the Warlords. You know, like I'd love to know what my, you know, like when you go into here onto your profile, obviously it says here Ghazghkull Thraka is the Warlord that I've got the most wins with. Why can't we get that for every Warlord? I think that'd be really cool to see, you know, every Warlord, what total amount of victories is. I think that would be really cool, and it adds another layer to like, oh, I want to get my, you know, my Gruk wins up, or I want to, you know, up my Eldar wins, that type of thing as well. So I think that would be really, really cool addition, and again, quite a nice thing to see on your friends list as well, if possible. And so the last thing for me on my wish list at the minute is a better revamped shop. I think that the shop itself, this is something I only every now and again check in with, and it's just become a little bit dated. I think with the addition of many new factions, I'm not sure whether this format works anymore, to be honest. I really think you should be able to also pin cards like you can in the replays, where you can pin a replay. You should be able to pin a card. Like say you're a Necron player and you're like, oh my god, Ramatek the Cruel, that's the one Warlord I don't have. I really want that card so badly. It's going to make my collection. But you only have 3,800 crystals. You're not going to get them in time. You should be able to pin Ramatek and work like mad over the next week to get your crystals up so that you can then get Ramatek, rather than missing it, feeling bad, and having to wait another 3-4 months before it comes in the shop. And I just think maybe we could make the shop a little bit, maybe a bit bigger. Maybe we could have a few more cards, more options. Yeah, I'd like to see like a bit of a change up and give some more options. I do wonder as well, as we keep adding more factions, whether it just slows down the whole shop mechanic, because what if your faction doesn't have a card in there? And it's also a little bit the same with the packs, because if you look at the packs, the all army packs, like you know, if I get an all army pack, let's just get one here. Okay, so we've got two Eldar, we've got an Imperial Guard and another Imperial Guard and a Tau. So if I'm a Dark Angel player, or I'm a Tyranid player, that pack was not that helpful to me. I wondered whether you can kind of almost like choose to kind of like leave. I don't want Eldar. Can you auto enroll them out of the all army packs? I don't know, but again, it's just something that it worked really well when there were only sort of 5 factions, but as we get more and more factions, I just think it's losing a bit of value. So there you go, guys. That is my wish list for Warpforge. Dear Santa, if you are listening, that would be fantastic. It's been a great year in 2024. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. Massive thanks to EG for making such a fun game that we've all really loved and enjoyed. And massive thanks to you guys. Let me know in the comments what's in your wish list. What are your top 3 things? That would be cool. Share in the comments your top 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe, and guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in the new year 2025, where we kick off with a load more Warpforge. Thanks for all your support this year. Wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.